just like, you know, just like, what's up YouTube? This is a YouTube intro. I'm on Twitch with the entirety of the Dragon Ball community on the chat, so 3 people. Can the 3 people in chat press buttons to see that you're live? There we go. That's like the all thing. That's a lie. The chat is lit. We just wanted to talk about Dragon Ball. Why are you all waking up right now? Yes, chat is lit. You know, everything is lit. We wanted to talk about this. It's Evo. It's Evo, and there is no Dragon Ball fighters at Evo. And honestly, the things I want to talk about, like, I want to talk about a lot of things. It would take a long time, but I want to talk about the positive and the negatives, right? Like first thing, Evo has 8 slots, and I do not think any of these games don't deserve it. Outside of, you know, let's be real quick. Like, Evo in the lineup has, you know, Mortal Kombat 1, recent, makes sense. Under Night, recent, makes sense. KOF, Active and Striving, makes sense. Grand Blue, makes sense. Tekken 8, you know, obviously. Strive, obviously. Then there's gonna be, you know, a Street Fighter game where Ryu is not the main character, that pretty much has no neutral, that has a terrible balance, and everyone plays the same character to win. And then it will also have Street Fighter 6. So that's pretty much, you know, the lineup. It makes a lot of sense. Fact, by the way, factual. That's a powerful bait. Nothing I said was wrong. That's a powerful bait. I love Third Strike. I love 6 as well. But, you know, if you tell me Third Strike is balanced, you're lying. I think KI will probably be next year. The reason why I was convinced it would be 3S this year is because it's the 20-year anniversary for Evo Moment 37. You know? So from the moment, you know, we knew that it was the 20th anniversary, it makes sense. KI probably next year. No, I've never been too much of a KI guy there. But obviously, the question is, why is Dragon Ball not there? Obviously sad. All of us are sad and coping. Trying to be... I'm gonna try to be not too biased, but I'm biased like crazy. My first bias about the sadness of Dragon Ball not being there is that I've been doing fighting games for ages. I've done Street Fighter, I've done... On commentary, I've done Street Fighter, I've done Guilty Gear. I even done some KOF. I've done a lot of games. You know, on commentary, I've entered a lot of games. I've traveled to a lot of games. The Dragon Ball FighterZ hype is unique. It's a hype that's kind of akin to what Marvel hype is, which is like, it's a game everyone watches. The only thing I don't like about this lineup is that there is no game that everyone watches. Like, Street Fighter 6 is probably the closest one, but if you're not a Tekken player, you generally don't watch Tekken. If you're not a Strife player, you don't really watch Guilty Gear. Grand Blue's niche. You need to use niche. Let's not even talk about MK. KOF is niche as hell. And Third Strike is really cool, you know, but it's not the game that gathers everyone. And that's what I liked about usually, you know, like Dragon Ball and also Marvel. It's like, it's kind of a game that even if you don't really care, you still watch it. I've never really played Marvel 3. I watch Marvel 3. You know, and Dragon Ball kind of like has this, like when you're going to Evo and you're watching Dragon Ball Top 8, you see that the entire room watches Top 8. While, you know, when it's, I don't know, Grand Blue or Melty Blood Top 8, the people who watch Grand Blue Top 8 are the Grand Blue fans. You know, and a few curious people, like people who are like, have curiosity, right? Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball. That's exactly like, the reason why Evo has so big numbers in Dragon Ball is not because Dragon Ball is a big game. It's because everyone has played Dragon Ball at some point. So when you travel to Evo, you're like, why not? You know, that's kind of the thing. And obviously a no tag game is weird, but you know, by all means, I guess that's the year. Remember that Evo has side tournaments as well, and probably an even bigger area this year because it's a new venue. So it's probably going to be, you know, solids. And there's probably going to be a Dragon Ball event, you know, like on the side. Like, the real problem with Dragon Ball is that if we look at the previous World Tour, even myself as the biggest Dragon Ball FighterZ fan on earth, maybe, it was difficult to get constantly excited about the competition because most players play Dragon Ball on the sides. Like Bandai Namco Arxis has succeeded in making people stop hoping. So people are just like, yeah, I guess I'll play Dragon Ball right now. And when a game is not constantly and actively played, the game naturally drops. You know, like there is no storyline, there is no rivalry. So you have an event, everyone's gonna play for the event. Event's done, we just wait for the next event. Case in point, Yasha, right? Yasha gets to EVO Grand Finals, Yasha wins versus fighting, kinda disappears, does whatever. Trains for UFA, wins UFA, that's cool. Kinda disappears, and then goes back to World Finals. That's like kind of the thing. If you compare to, I don't know, Street Fighter 6, Angry Bird plays Street Fighter 6 every single day, period. That's his game, that's the main game, that's the game he plays. He's a Street Fighter 6 player. You know, that's the thing that Dragon Ball is unfortunate. The real problem of fighters, QRP, is that you have to think about not a fighting game perspective, but a bigger perspective. You have to be in the eyes of Shueisha. For Shueisha, Dragon Ball FighterZ is no more than a Dragon Ball product. The same way a Dragon Ball figure is a Dragon Ball product. Or, I don't know, like cards are a Dragon Ball product. They just pump the product sold, good, next product. Cool, that Goku figure is great, sell it, you know, that's all. Also, video game wise, Dragon Ball fans, or rather anime fans on video games, have zero standards. Like when you talk about anime games, as long as it's the anime, people are gonna buy. Jump Force exists. And it actually got sold. Like people bought Jump Force. People saw, like, wait, hold up. Like people, Jump Force screenshots. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. People saw this and bought it. They saw this. And they paid money. That's the problem. That's the problem. The problem is that there is zero... Like, the bar is so low. The bar is so incredibly low that any product that features anime makes money by default. So, from Shueisha's perspective... Hold up, let's do an experiment. Jump Force total sales. Can we know the total sales? You know? Because Jump Force was... yeah, not PC version, I want everything. Hold up, wait. 4 million units for PS4? Isn't Dragon Ball like 5 million? Dbfz total sales. It's a 10 million. It's much more. Good. But then if you look at Xenoverse, 10 million. So you have the choice between making Dragon Ball FighterZ or making Hello, Everyone is a Clone the game with DLC that's easy to make. And they sell the same amount. Do you know why? Because the 10 million people who bought Xenoverse are the same 10 million people who bought Dragon Ball FighterZ. They're Dragon Ball fans. And they're the same... Oh, what's Kakarot saying? You know? Yeah, 6 millions, a bit less. But you know, that's the problem, like... Anime games... Listen, I have played the One Piece Odyssey RPG, right? And objectively, it's like potentially the most mid-minus RPG I played in my life. It has every single cliche from RPGs. It does zero effort. It's just a game. And the One Piece fans were like, this is the best game in One Piece history. And that's true, because every game on One Piece history is like Z tier. And suddenly you have a C tier game that comes in. So, you know, that's the best game you've ever played. And that's the problem with anime games. One Piece games are shit for a reason, because people buy. But then, like, when you think about Dragon Ball and the lifetime of Dragon Ball, like, Dragon Ball is weird because Dragon Ball, to me, genuinely, Dragon Ball should be the biggest fighting game on earth, right? Why? Because it's the fighting game that's Dragon Ball. So it should like merge the people from the Dragon Ball side and the fighting game side, and there we go. Dragon Ball Fighters, when it came out, was one of the few games that has people from everywhere playing. In what other games have you seen Leffen, Sonic Fox, and Goichi? Like, name a game they have in common outside of Dragon Ball. None. They're 3 players from completely different background. Not SF6. Leffen doesn't play SF6. Sonic Fox doesn't play SF6. You know? And that was the strength. That was the pull of Dragon Ball. Yeah, but they don't compete. They stopped. They tried. The thing is, they tried SF6 and they left. While they played Dragon Ball with the aim of being the best. That's the difference that I'm trying to make. And that's the main thing. You know? Season 1, Season 2? Bro, Season 2 finals? Like, that was absolute peak. Then COVID happened. Obviously, COVID's COVID. But with COVID came doubts. You know, with doubts came people starting to play a bit less. And then when they should have tried and like brought the game back, they made patches that people did not like, you know, and they doubled down on the path that a lot of the players didn't like. And that's the main thing to me. Like what ended Dragon Ball Fighters is that, not ended, but like ended the Evo run Dragon Ball Fighters, is that they announced rollback at Evo. Then they went silent. Like, they didn't even keep people posted. They just went silent. Then rollback never came, and they announced a surprise patch, which was, oh cool, a surprise patch. And they said, yo, on this patch, we're gonna listen to feedback. And all of us were like, that's actually super cool. So they released the patch, and then 3 weeks later, they released another patch that supposedly is made from feedback. And to this day, if you know who Mr. Feedback is, I would like to know. Because that second patch to me it's an absolute, like, oddball. If you did not want feedback, why did you talk about feedback before? Anyone knows any other game like Dragon Ball Fighters? Dragon Ball Fighters, bro. Marvel 3 is probably the one you want to. You're right, Saiyan. I think like the Vegito 5M buff is probably the one that started. When they saw Vegito and they were like, this character needs buffs. You know? It's all of this, but realistically, you know, the patches have been received like not great, and I'm the first to say this, right? Like, you guys know me, I'm real, I don't lie. I don't pretend or anything. The current patch is potentially the funniest to watch, but to me, it might be the worst to play. I think it's either this or Season 1. Like playing this patch is is tough. It's an ordeal. You know, it's like it's a trial. You're trying to play, man. Like, but the reason why is because the game design of this patch is not, like, the main issue is that the game design of this patch is not the game design that Dragon Ball Fighters fell in love with. And that's what Dragon Ball Fighters suffers from right now. If you talk to all the Dragon Ball players pro, they will all tell you, I don't like the current meta. You ask Yasha, you ask Kane, you ask Wade, you ask all of them, you ask Zane, you ask they all will be, I don't like the current meta. Except Garlic Bread. Garlic Bread will just be like, yeah, sure, I have 35 TODs now. You know. But this whole patch thing, and people knowing that there's no more patch, also, like, kind of makes it go down. But then the actual question is Dragon Ball Fighters dead? First of all, I hate saying a game is dead. I don't think a single game is dead. Do you know what game is dead? Rumbleverse. Because they closed access to the servers and we can't play anymore. And that was a sick game. But that's actually a dead game because we can't play it anymore. There is no other game that's dead. You know? Is Dragon Ball Fighters dead? Twitch, Dragon Ball Fighters. In them streaming, I'm streaming. Lolo Wolf is streaming Dragon Ball Fighters Dead con Amigos. Nazel is streaming Dragon Ball. Aizen is playing Dragon Ball. Yeah, yep. Does that look like a game that's dead to you? No. People are playing. You know? You can't link a game's life to official competition. A game is dead when nobody plays it anymore, but even more, a game is dead when you cannot play it. Right? Battlefield Bad Company is dead. They turned the servers off. You can't play it anymore. Rumbleverse, I said, is dead. Shaq Fu's probably dead because he's dead. You know, I launched Dragon Ball earlier and there were random people in the lobby playing. The game is... That's the thing. The real question is, why are... Like, for me, my question is, why are people so intent in talking about dead games? If you like a game, play the game. Like, why is a game being dead affect you in any sense? If today you want to learn Street Fighter 2, you can. There is 5k, people are actually playing, there's a community, find the community, play. If you want to play Vampire Saviors, play. You know? Why would the pro player still play this game without a pro scene? That depends on the pro player goals. Is the pro player goals to be a world champion? Is the pro player goal to live off Dragon Ball? At the moment, there is no player that lives off Dragon Ball. Because that's dead. That's done. So that's the thing. But then you're like, is competitive Dbfz game dead? What does competitive mean in your thing, in your case? Does it mean there is no World Tour? Does it mean there is no rivalry? Does it mean there is no money? You know? Does it mean no one's playing? Look at Marvel. Marvel died a long time ago, but it was always carried by a couple people. Shout out to Tong and TNS. You know? I know that Marvel never dies. I think to me, Dragon Ball is kind of similar. Like, even if you don't really play, you still play, you know, Dragon Ball and stuff. You know, online tournaments are there. Wanted's there, man. I like playing Dragon Ball. I like watching Dragon Ball. As long as people are joining me for Wanted. Plus, with hopefully rollback coming, we'll do Wanted with NA and have NA and EU. And honestly, to me, I'm looking to maybe do a fun format for when rollback release to have an active competition. You know. To me, there is a thing that the Dragon Ball community as a whole failed at, which is take the game for themselves. Like, because, and let me tell you, I've complained for this as well. Because most Dragon Ball players are too busy complaining about Dragon Ball. I'm saying Dragon Ball, it's the same for Street Fighter, it's the same for Tekken. I don't know why you guys play games and just complain about them 24/7. Just stop playing the game. Or play it and shut up. You know, like, because players are so busy complaining about the game, players did not realize that Dragon Ball FighterZ was slowly but surely shifting from worldwide World Tour to dedicated fan game. So, if the Dragon Ball leaders, like the game, they can keep playing the game and stream the game, and that creates a hangout space for the game. Right? Ah, you want the tutorial? It's there. Shout out to Shodel, the goat. You know. But what could have done it? That's what's gonna happen for Dragon Ball. Like, to me, the goal for Dragon Ball now is that the game lives through the people who want to play the game and like the game. So myself, Terrence, Bum, I don't know who else is gonna actively, you know, maybe Khalil will probably like play here and there. You know, just have that Dragon Ball core that exists. And I think that's how we as a community, you know, keep playing Dragon Ball. Because for me, and I'm being fully honest, I like Dragon Ball. I'm playing Dragon Ball about once a week. That's great. I could play a bit more, but honestly, I don't have enough time. So my once a week Dragon Ball is good. Like, I come here, I chill with all of you guys. We play some Wanted. We watch some Wanted. You know, we go for a match and stuff. That's good. That's very simple. And that is pretty much what I think we need to do. Like, that if someone today, the goal is that if someone today joins Dragon Ball, he opens the stream and he's like, oh, this guy Damascus is streaming Dragon Ball, and there are how many people? 100 people. Shout out to you guys on the stream. Let me go in and say hello. And that person enters Dragon Ball, and that's cool. You know, they play. Oh, this guy Inzem is playing. Let's join. What's up? Join that community. That's how you play a game, and you stop being an idiot who just waits for external validation. the game you play is the game you play. Like, you don't need other people to tell you what to play and what not to play. So for me, that means obviously, you know, Wanted every Wednesday. That's pretty much a standard. No reason not to go for Wanted. Playing Dragon Ball here and there. Always supporting at events whenever I can enter. Couple sessions here and there. And whenever rollback drops, I would like to do something, you know, a bit more fun for Dragon Ball. To try and get people, you know, to enjoy. But what's your plan on the chat? You know, Dragon Ball. Are you going to cope on Twitter? Are you going to say you're a full-time Tekken 8 player and give up the game in a month? Are you going to go on every Dragon Ball video on YouTube and comment, I hate this game? Tell me. Because look, let me show you an interesting stat for Dragon Ball. I actually realized that earlier. If you go to YouTube and you look at the Evo channel, Evo events, you know, you go to Evo events and you look at the videos and you look at what are the most viewed videos. What do you think is the top 3 most viewed videos on the Evo channel? It's Evo Moment 37 with 7.3 million. And it's WoW vs Nitro with 4.6 million. The third one is KOF 2023 with less than 1 million. This is peak. This is what Dragon Ball is. See, this is what, look. Street Fighter 6, Angry Bird, Mena RD. That's the amount of people. Look at WoW vs Nitro. 4.6 million. And even if you scroll a bit and you look, you know, at what appears here and there, you see obviously a lot of Street Fighter 6 that's recent, and you see a couple more Dragon Ball. Because look, that's the top 6 right there, above a lot more. Those are crazy numbers. Look, this is WoW vs Yasha, the losers final, 153k. You know, that is the power of Dragon Ball. And that's the thing they fumbled. And I would even like to... Wait, hold up. World Finals, Goichi, Fenrich. Oh, that one has a ton, right? Red Bull Gaming? What's... what do you mean there's no channel named Red Bull Gaming? Okay, well, YouTube's... YouTube, are you tripping? Okay, YouTube is not tripping. What's the Red Bull Gaming channel? You know, saying, look! This is Red Bull's channel! Number 1, freaking Ninja, because everyone plays Fortnite and I don't care. Number 2, the OG movie. That's like the greatest quality in esports, done by the same guy who did the CEO movie. Number 3, that guy who was super trending like crazy. Number 4, Dota OG Massive. Who's number 5? Dragon Ball FighterZ World Finals. Over some Dota contents. Some have no idea who Chadson is, but he must be known. Dbfz Dead. So, Goichi Fenrich! You know, he's there. Like, this is Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? This is Dragon Ball. And this is what, unfortunately, Bandai Namco was not, like, you know, Bandai Namco did not do. So see what, actually the Goichi Sonic Fox is more watched than the Goichi Fenrich. Interesting, right? That's the Red Bull Madrid. 1.9 million views, and that's the grand finals. The World Tour finals, 1.1 million views. You know. On the peak of Dragon Ball, I think, was like mid to end of season 2. Like this Goichi Sonic Fox, the Evo, the back-to-back perfect in World Finals. But that's the thing, and yeah, Dota's still doing strong because Dota has 1 million players. The strong thing about Dragon Ball is that Dragon Ball does not need players. People watch Dragon Ball by default. And that's the main thing. You know, Dota prize pools are crazy, Dota games crazy. And that was just like proving you live, like what Dragon Ball should get. But, you know, for me it's fairly simple. It's literally like, you like the game, play the game. You don't like the game, go play something else. Why are you wasting your time with games you don't like. I think Dragon Ball's fun. I'll play Dragon Ball. I'll do events for Dragon Ball. And, you know, whatever for Dragon Ball. And I'm about to close the YouTube video because I don't want to do a 1 million years long YouTube video. I have recently kind of stopped streaming on YouTube because the setup was starting to annoy me and I don't get much views on YouTube. So I'm like going to like switch to like different content on YouTube. But YouTube, join the Twitch. I don't do the same thing on YouTube or Twitch. Join the Twitch. It's like right there on the description. And tell me if you're still playing Dragon Ball. I want to know. Let's go.